Hi everybody. We're going to talk about E to I stem changers, and of course we're talking about in the present indicative tense. So let's start with the question, what is a stem changer? And of course the stem changer is just a verb where we're going to take the final syllable of the stem and we're going to change it. Sometimes they're changing from E to IE, sometimes they're changing from O to UE, sometimes they're changing from E to I. So the first part of the verb is called the stem. The last part is called the ending. And then in our case, we're going to be talking about verbs where that last syllable changes E to I. E to I stem changers work a lot like the others, but there are a couple of small differences than the others. The first one, of course, pretty obvious, is that the E of the stem, instead of changing E to IE, is just going to change E to I. And the second, and probably the biggest difference between this and the others, is that only IR verbs can be E to I stem changers. That doesn't mean that all IR verbs are E to I stem changers. What it really means is that if I have an E to I stem changer, it will be an IR verb. But there can also be E to IE and O to UE verbs that are IR verbs. E to I stem changers, like the others, they don't change the nosotros or the vosotros form. You know, they have that nickname boot verbs. If you were to draw an outline around the yo form, tu form, usted, el, ella form, ustedes, ellos, ellas form, it kind of looked like a boot. No matter what kind of stem changer you have, if it's a stem changer, it will not stem change in the nosotros or the vosotros form. The process is really easy. Like all of the other stem changers, you identify who the subject is. If the subject is yo, if the subject is tu, if the subject is nosotros, or whoever it's going to be, that's going to set up how we work with this. If the subject is not nosotros or vosotros, then I'm going to have to change the E, the final, in the final syllable of the stem to an I. If the subject is nosotros or vosotros, then I don't stem change. So once I add or make this change to the stem, then I'm going to add the ending that matches the subject. And in this next slide, I've got a step-by-step process. So here, we're going to use the verb servir. It's an E to I stem changer. And I'm going to say, hey, the subject happens to be yo. So with that in mind, we're going to start out, we have servir. I'm going to ask who's doing the action. Well, I am doing the action, so the subject is yo. Since it's not nosotros or vosotros, I'm going to need to change the stem. And so you see here, instead of S-E-R-V, I had to change it so that it becomes S-I-R-V. And then after that, we're going to add the ending that matches the yo form. In the present indicative, the ending that matches the yo form for an IR verb is going to be an O. And so my complete conjugation of the stem changer becomes sirvo. It's important to remember that the verb still does have to conjugate. It's just that I have to make a change to the stem. And that's really all there is to it. There's nothing super difficult or anything like that about it. One final example, we're going to use the verb repetir, and you're going to notice that it's got more than one syllable in the stem. So re, pe, tir. So when I look at it, notice the yo form, the tu form, the usted, el, ella form, the ustedes, ellos, ellas forms. In all of these, the last syllable of the stem is where we see that stem change take place. But in the nosotros and vosotros form, we don't have to make the stem change at all, so it just stays R-E-P-E-T. And then, other than that, it's going to work just like any other IR verb. It is important to remember, like all of the stem changing verbs, that there's no way to tell that it's a stem changing verb other than to memorize it. So you have to actually go through and learn which verbs are the stem changing verbs. I hope that that's helpful, and have a great day.